we age, life presents us with both challenges and opportunities. While the passage of time often grants wisdom, it also demands careful navigation. To ensure your golden years are filled with peace, joy, and contentment, there are common mistakes worth avoiding. From my own experiences and insights shared in various forums and communities, it's evident that the regrets most people harbor in their later years are not about wealth or status, but about how they lived their lives. Whether you're on the cusp of retirement, already retired, or somewhere in between, here's a fresh perspective on the mistakes to sidestep to live your later years with purpose and fulfillment. 1. Overlooking your health. It's easy to take your health for granted when you're younger, but the impact of neglect becomes increasingly clear as the years pass. A recurring theme among older adults is the regret of not prioritizing their physical and mental well-being. The truth is, how you treat your body now dictates how well it serves you later. I recently read the story of a woman in her 60s who, after decades of prioritizing her career, was confronted with the reality of a life confined by preventable health issues. Her knees, once sturdy and dependable, now protested at every step, preventing her from enjoying simple activities like walking on the beach with her grandchildren. She reflected that had she spent more time moving and strengthening her body, she could have maintained her independence and mobility longer. You don't need a drastic lifestyle overhaul to start. Small steps, like taking regular walks or engaging in gentle stretching, can make a world of difference. Incorporating nutritious foods into your diet and attending routine checkups can help catch potential issues before they escalate. Remember, maintaining your health is about preserving your ability to enjoy life fully, whether that means traveling, socializing, or simply moving without pain. 2. Allowing friendships to fade. As life evolves, so do our relationships, yet one of the most commonly shared regrets among older adults is the realization that they've let key friendships wither over time. While it may feel easy to prioritize work or family responsibilities in your middle years, it's important to recognize that friendships become a vital source of joy, connection, and support as you age. I recently came across a touching story from a retired teacher. After retiring, she found herself gradually losing contact with her colleagues, who she had once considered close friends. It wasn't intentional, but as the rhythm of her daily life changed, so too did her social circles. By the time she reached out, many had moved on, leaving her feeling isolated. To avoid this kind of loneliness in your later years, it's essential to nurture friendships now. Call a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, arrange a lunch, or even send a simple message. Maintaining relationships takes effort, but it's an investment in your emotional well-being. New social connections can also be made through hobbies, volunteering, or joining community groups, which can enrich your life with fresh perspectives and energy. 3. Resisting help due to pride. Aging often comes with the desire to maintain independence at all costs, but one of the biggest obstacles to aging well is an unwillingness to ask for help when it's needed. This reluctance can lead to unnecessary struggles, loneliness, and even physical harm. A gentleman I read about had a transformative realization after a fall left him unable to care for himself without assistance. Initially, he resisted help, feeling that asking for it was a sign of weakness. His pride led him to push away loved ones who wanted to support him. Only after some deep reflection did he understand that accepting help didn't make him weak. It actually deepened his connections with his family and friends. His relationships flourished when he allowed others to step in, and his quality of life improved immensely. Asking for help is not a sign of surrender. It's an act of wisdom. Whether you need help with practical tasks or emotional support, know that reaching out strengthens your relationships and enriches your life. It fosters deeper connections and more importantly, makes your later years more enjoyable and less burdened by avoidable challenges. 4. Holding on to grudges and regrets. With age comes reflection, and many people find themselves grappling with unresolved conflicts or regrets. However, holding on to past hurts or grievances can become an emotional burden that weighs heavily on your spirit. I recently read about a woman in her 80s who had refused to speak to her brother for decades due to a long-standing family dispute. As the years passed, the reasons behind the fallout became less clear, but the emotional distance remained. When her brother passed away unexpectedly, she was left with an immense sense of loss, compounded by the missed opportunity for reconciliation. She spoke about the deep regret that haunted her, emphasizing how much lighter her heart would have been had she forgiven him sooner. Letting go of grudges or regrets is one of the most liberating acts you can perform for yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing past wrongs, but it allows you to move forward without the emotional chains that hold you back. Freeing yourself from old wounds opens up space for peace and joy, enabling you to focus on the positive experiences and relationships that still lie ahead. 5. Fearing change. Instead of embracing it, change is one of the few constants in life, but it becomes harder to embrace as we grow older. From technological advancements to shifting social dynamics, resisting change can lead to isolation and missed opportunities. A story that struck me involved a man in his 70s who adamantly refused to learn how to use modern technology, such as smartphones or computers. While his friends and family communicated easily through social media, emails, and texts, he remained reliant on landlines and written letters. Over time, this decision left him feeling increasingly disconnected, particularly from his grandchildren who lived across the country. When he finally decided to learn how to use a smartphone, the change was transformational. He began video chatting with his family, sharing photos, and even exploring new hobbies online. Embracing change not only expanded his social world, but also opened his mind to new experiences that kept him feeling vibrant and connected. The lesson here is simple. Being open to change, whether it's technology, new social norms, or even daily routines, keeps your mind sharp and your heart young. Staying adaptable can enhance your sense of purpose and joy, making your later years more dynamic and fulfilling. 6. Failing to plan for the future. Many people delay planning for their later years, assuming they'll have time to think about it when they're older. However, failing to plan early, both financially and emotionally, can lead to unnecessary anxiety and stress. The truth is, you cannot predict the future, but you can prepare for it in ways that will give you more control and peace of mind as you age. Consider a couple in their early 50s who believed their current savings would carry them through retirement. They didn't factor in the rising costs of healthcare or the potential for economic downturns. By their late 60s, they were forced to sell their home and downsize drastically, a decision they hadn't anticipated. What they hadn't considered was how medical expenses, inflation, and unforeseen costs could quickly drain their retirement funds. Their story became a cautionary tale for others, highlighting the importance of starting early, creating a diverse savings plan, and regularly adjusting it to account for life's uncertainties. Planning for your future isn't just about finances. It's about envisioning how you want to live and the quality of life you desire. Whether it's budgeting for travel, thinking about healthcare needs, or preparing your living arrangements, the more prepared you are, the less you'll need to worry. Taking steps to organize your financial, medical, and emotional resources now can provide the freedom to enjoy your later years without the looming fear of what's to come. 7. Losing your sense of purpose. Retirement, for many, is seen as the finish line after years of hard work. But what happens after you cross that line? One of the most challenging aspects of growing older is the fear that your life no longer has direction or meaning. When careers end, children move out, and routines shift, many people find themselves adrift, questioning their role in the world. In an insightful forum post, an elderly man shared how after decades of running a successful business, he found himself battling depression and restlessness in retirement. His identity had been so closely tied to his professional achievements that when he no longer had the structure of his work life, he felt lost. However, after joining a local mentoring program where he advised young entrepreneurs, he rediscovered a sense of purpose. His wisdom and experience became invaluable to others, and he found that sharing his knowledge with the next generation was not only fulfilling, but gave him a reason to wake up each day with enthusiasm. This story illustrates that purpose doesn't vanish with age. It evolves. Purpose can come from many places, whether it's mentoring, volunteering, learning new hobbies, or becoming more involved in family life. You are always capable of contributing, regardless of your age. Finding what gives you meaning ensures that your days are not simply about passing time, but about engaging in meaningful, enriching activities that bring you joy. 8. Neglecting mental health. Mental health is often overlooked as people age, with many assuming that feelings of sadness, anxiety, or isolation are just part of the aging process. This misconception can lead to undiagnosed mental health issues like depression or anxiety, which can severely impact the quality of life in older age. Mental well-being is just as crucial as physical health, yet it's often neglected. I recently came across the story of a man in his early 70s who, after the death of his wife, spiraled into a deep depression. His children lived far away, and though he had a strong social network, he withdrew, convinced that feeling hopeless was just part of getting old. His physical health began to decline as a result. However, a neighbor encouraged him to join a grief support group, and through sharing his experience with others, he began to heal emotionally. He realized that seeking help for his mental health was not a sign of weakness, but a way to regain control of his life. Taking care of your mental health is vital at every stage of life. This includes acknowledging when you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or isolated, and reaching out for help. Whether it's seeing a therapist, joining a support group, or simply staying mentally active through hobbies, reading, or puzzles, maintaining a sharp and healthy mind is essential. Keeping your brain engaged helps fend off cognitive decline and ensures you remain mentally resilient, even in the face of life's inevitable challenges. 9. Holding on to too much. When to downsize and simplify. As we age, the space we occupy and the things we own can become more of a burden than a blessing. Many people mistakenly assume that hanging on to a large home or keeping possessions that no longer serve them is essential for comfort or nostalgia. However, the reality for many is that excess clutter and space can drain both physical energy and financial resources in their later years. I recently came across the story of a couple in their late 60s who were still living in the large family home where they raised their children. They believed the space was necessary for family gatherings during holidays and visits from their grown children. However, as time passed, they realized that maintaining the house had become an overwhelming responsibility. Cleaning the multiple rooms, tending to the yard, and keeping up with repairs became harder, and they found themselves spending more time managing the property than enjoying their retirement. When they made the decision to downsize to a smaller home in a walkable community, they discovered a newfound sense of freedom. Not only was their financial burden reduced, but they also felt lighter emotionally. They now had more time and energy to travel, pursue new hobbies, and focus on their health. Downsizing allowed them to live more intentionally, concentrating on the experiences and relationships that mattered most. The lesson here is clear: Simplifying your life is not about giving up comfort, but about gaining control and flexibility. Whether it means moving to a smaller space or decluttering decades of possessions, less really can mean more. The process of letting go can free you from unnecessary stress, give you more financial freedom, and spare your family from having to sort through a lifetime of belongings down the road. Start small, clean out closets, reduce excess items, or consider transitioning to a more manageable living arrangement. The mental and physical freedom that comes with simplification can significantly enhance your quality of life. 10. Avoiding conversations about end-of-life planning. End-of-life planning is one of the most difficult but necessary discussions to have. Many people avoid the subject either out of fear or a desire to delay the inevitable, but failing to make clear arrangements can create confusion and stress for your loved ones during an already emotional time. Having a plan in place is one of the greatest acts of love and responsibility you can offer to your family, and it ensures that your personal wishes are respected. I recall reading about a man whose father passed away suddenly without any formal plans in place. The family was left scrambling to make decisions about his healthcare, funeral, and finances, all while grieving the unexpected loss. The siblings argued over what they thought their father would have wanted, leading to tension and prolonged stress. It was a difficult and painful experience that could have been avoided if the father had taken the time to discuss his end-of-life wishes with the family and put them in writing. Planning for the end of life is not just about writing a will. It also involves discussing your medical preferences, such as whether you want life support or certain treatments in the case of critical illness.